Welcome to the Nightly News Podcast. This is Professor Paul Miller here today with Alumni Engagement Director Sarah Blumenschein. Sarah, thank you so very much for joining us on the program today.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And also on the podcast today, Nightly News President and General All-Star here on campus, Sherry Long. Sherry, welcome.
Thank you for the welcome.
Sherry, obviously you have done a lot with the Nightly News Media Club over the years that you've been here, but one of the other things that you do here is you are involved with Alumni Council, which is why you're sitting in here today. We are going to talk with Sarah and Sherry about upcoming plans for our homecoming event happening October the 20th, 21st, and 22nd here at Central Penn College. First question that comes to my mind, Sarah, is obviously, you've added a couple of events here. You're making this a whole homecoming weekend. So can you tell me a little bit about the planning process of maybe even how did you come up with these two new events that we're doing on both Friday and Sunday?
Sure. Well, it's been a very collaborative process with Alumni Council, which, as you mentioned, Sherry's a part of. And ever since last year's homecoming event, we've been brainstorming and trying to figure out, what should we include to make this a really spectacular homecoming event for Central Penn College. And we looked at other colleges and universities in the area to see what they've done, see what has been successful. We knew we wanted to do some type of an awards and recognition program. We didn't know what it would look like. Until we started the discussions, and that's where the Standing Ovation Alumni Awards Night came from. And then the other events that we added, like the Alumni Brunch, was really just icing on the cake for a weekend of fun.
So let's talk a little bit more about this. The first event of Homecoming Weekend is going to happen Friday, October the 20th. From 7 to 10 p.m. in the Conference Center. It's the Standing Ovation Alumni Awards Night. Sherry, let me ask you, when you were first involved in the conversations here, what were some of the early conversations about how this dinner would go?
Well, we were just trying to come up with something that would recognize alumni and their accomplishments in the community. We just kicked around some ideas of how to do that, and through the process, we came up with an awards night. We came up with the name Standing Ovation, and then we also came up with the different categories of what we wanted to recognize in the different alumni.
I'm just going to read a few of the awards. There are actually 6, but it would take us, a whole entire podcast to go through all of them. Some of the ones that I'm specifically looking at are the Philanthropic Trailblazer Award. So this award recognizes an outstanding graduate with a proven record of exceptional financial generosity to the students of Central Penn. Now, one of the things, obviously, that we talk about a lot on our podcast, Sarah, is really about how much it means to you to have alumni that support what it is that you do for your mission and to continue to support the scholarships and things for Central Penn College students. So is that one of the reasons that you came up with this as being one of the major awards in the evening?
Oh, surely. It's incredible whenever graduates can not only give back to their alma mater, but help students who are deserving to complete their education, because a donation to the scholarship program and to the Education Foundation can be truly transformational for a student to complete their degree. So, yes, we wanted to recognize graduates for that. And also, the entire event is going to be benefiting the Education Foundation. The proceeds will benefit the foundation and also the Alumni Association. All of the food and the service that night has been donated by the Conference Center and Bridgewood Catering, so we are deeply grateful for that. And it's going to be just one more way we can give back and help students.
And one of the things that I find unique about our campus is that we do have the Conference Center there on campus, ready to do events. You had the Alumni Leadership Conference down there. I think they do a very, very nice job, and we do have events down there, and I'm looking forward to coming out for this. One of the other ones I see is the Next Big Thing Award. This probably in the next few years will be called the Sherry Long Award. This award recognizes a graduate who stands out among peers for outstanding leadership and service prior to one's 10th reunion year. Community service, professional accomplishments, and other significant achievements are considered. So there's another one that I think is very unique. We had Curtis on talking about the Young Alumni Initiative that has been going on within the Alumni Council. And I think this is another thing that really just kind of encourages our students right when they get out of school to become involved with alumni functions. What are your thoughts on that?
It absolutely is. It's a way to not only encourage our young alumni to get involved with the college, but also to support them as they progress in their careers, as they pursue leadership opportunities, community service, and volunteerism in the community, because those are all aspects that we look at for this Next Big Thing award. We had tons of nominations for this category, which was really cool to see. We had a lot of nominations in general, so I'm really excited to give out this award in particular, just so that we can shine a light on our young alumni.
Well, and that's something that I certainly look forward to being a part of. As I mentioned that, this is really a time where I want to ask Sherry a quick question here. I got an email from you probably about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, asking me if I would be the MC at the event that evening. And I was just curious, when you were thinking about other potential MCs, how did my name come up?
Well, because you have a very good presence with your voice and being interactive with people. And as a student of yours, I appreciate you're interactive with the students. You obviously care about the students and are involved with the different activities that happen just outside of the classroom as well.
Well, it's my honor to accept this opportunity, so I will be the MC for the Standing Ovation Alumni Awards.
You heard it here.
And I certainly look forward to doing something like that, especially because when I told my wife, she was unfortunately unable to come to the Alumni Leadership Conference, so she is going to be able to come to this, so hopefully she's a little bit more proud of me after the event.
And Paul, we are so happy that you are going to be the MC, because this event is not just to recognize our graduates who are finalists. It's really to provide an awesome night for all of our graduates and to celebrate everyone's accomplishments. And so one of those ways is that we want to give back. We want to provide wonderful entertainment, great MCs. We have a live jazz band. We're going to have a mind reader, Matt Lines, very talented. He'll be providing a performance, and superhero cocktails. It's just going to be a really great event. That's a way that we're tying in our homecoming superheroes theme.
Yeah, before we get too far into what's going on during Fall Harvest and the Alumni Feast and Brews on Saturday, let's talk a little bit more about this overall superheroes theme that you've come up with. Can you tell me a little bit about these meetings behind the scenes? Where did you, because I know that this probably was one of the toughest decisions you had to make. What's the theme for this year?
Well, I think that was just another thing with, I know the Alumni Council just meeting and just tossing out some ideas, and we were just, superhero, that's pretty cool, because we want to recognize, again, the alumni and how super they are. And, who doesn't love dressing up like a superhero,
Exactly.
So is that what you're going for? I mean, do you want people to dress up for Fall Harvest?
Yes.
For the, not for the standing ovation night.
Right.
We want them to dress fancy.
Right.
But certainly on Saturday, definitely. I know I'll be sporting my Superwoman outfit, and I think Sarah's going to be Wonder Woman.
Yeah. If people feel comfortable doing that, they certainly can. We're going to have prizes for best costumes. We're going to have an area in the Little Knights kid play area where they can make their own costumes if they don't have one, and masks. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And we're also doing, if we want to talk about the social media campaign, we're having a contest where alumni can take a photo of themselves dressed as a superhero or a family member, and I think family member could be a pet as well, if I'm not mistaken. And then you upload it onto social media, and you hashtag it with CPC Superhero, and then out of those photos, we select a winner. And what do they win?
They win one free ticket, admission to the Alumni Feast and Brews reunion tent. So that's a $25 value for lunch, beer, and wine.
So let's recap real quick. Obviously, the first night, Friday, October 20th, the Standing Ovation Alumni Awards Night. That's going to be from 7 to 10 p.m. in the Conference Center here at Central Penn College. that you can go to centralpenn.edu/homecoming for more information on this and any event that we talk about here. All kinds of amazing things we have going on, a wonderful dinner, and, I'm not going to say anything bad because I'm the MC, so obviously I'm going to try my very best to give a wonderful show for everyone. So now we're going to move right along to Fall Harvest. Fall Harvest is always one of the most unique traditions here at Central Penn College, a certain necessity. I've been here every year that I've been here since 2013 when I started here, and it's something that I think means a lot to not only just our alumni, of course very important to them, but our faculty, our staff, our students as well. Having something like this open to the public, maybe people are coming for tours that day. It's just really an exciting day for our campus. I know also, in speaking with Janet Bixler in our previous podcast, she's got a lot of things going on down there. She's got improv for children. She's got the other a more adult-themed improv team coming on. But I think she's got things going on all day long in the theater. We obviously have vendors. We have food, all kinds of games for kids. I mean, it's really going to be something spectacular. Beyond the Feast and Brews, which we'll get to in a second, what do you think is your favorite thing about Fall Harvest?
I love that. Well, first, I love fall festivals. Okay, so any fall festival that I can go to, I try to do that. So I think it's wonderful that we offer one here on campus that's totally free. You can just come and walk through the vendors. You can buy what you want. You can have your kids play on all of the kiddie things. There's free stuff that's given out. I just think it's wonderful because we get more than 800 people here on campus, and it grows every year. It's just a really great time to get together with your family and friends and with your Central Penn family.
Well, and I think that's one of the most unique things about it, just the camaraderie. I mean, we very rarely get to spend time with one another outside of the school walls, and really to come here on a Saturday, it's more laid back. It's, to be honest, it's something I look forward to every single year, and I think a lot of the other faculty and staff does as well. All right, now to the crown jewel, and we will certainly talk more about the Fall Harvest Festival with Adrienne. She's going to be coming up. We'll chat with her more about that, and also Janet Bixler will be back on to talk about what they have going on in the theater. So don't think we're cutting Fall Harvest short. But the crown jewel event of Alumni Weekend and Homecoming Weekend is the Alumni Feast and Brews Reunion Tent. That'll be Saturday, October the 21st. Come from 10 to 2 and enjoy the Fall Harvest. And from 1 to 4, the Alumni Feast and Brews Reunion Tent will be at the Night and Day Cafe patio. Now, last year, Sarah, let's go back to last year. Last year was the second time that we had ever done something like this on campus. Can you tell me what you learned last year to help make the Alumni Feast and Brews Reunion Tent better for year 3?
Well, we got a lot of positive feedback. So whenever I was going through the survey results, there really wasn't a lot that we needed to improve on. So really, Alumni Council brainstormed ideas just to make it bigger and better. Obviously, you always get comments on the weather, so that's nothing that we can really control.
Yeah, but you had a tent there, so, even if it is soggy, at least people aren't getting soaked.
Correct. We are going to have a heater that's ordered on standby in case it is going to be a pretty chilly day. So that is something that we learned from last year, and we're going to have that on hold, really.
So one of the things that I did want to point out, so obviously Oktoberfest Fair, you've got wines from local vineyards, you've got beer from the Vineyard and Brewery of Hershey, Pizza Boy, and Zero Day, great food, wonderful space, good, libations. How could somebody not want to do something like this to cap off your homecoming Saturday?
I really don't know because, oh my gosh, we have something for literally everyone with Fall Harvest and with the Alumni Feast and Brews tent. Whether you graduated in 1967 or just this year, there's stuff for children. It's not just, whenever you hear Alumni Feast and Brews tent, you might envision one thing, but it's really family friendly. We've got lots of games. We've got a cornhole board that our facilities department actually designed and made for this specific event. So we're going to have a tournament going on.
Speaking of which,
yes,
we had a cornhole tournament for the students on earlier in this term, and I went and started shooting my mouth off about how great I was. And so we challenged the winner to a winner-take-all event, and of course, Curtis and I we won. We beat Ian and Brian pretty bad. So I will be entering the tournament.
Congratulations.
And my wife will be there too. She can be my partner. I do want to point out this event is going to celebrate the 5-year, 10-year, and 25-year reunions. These people are especially encouraged to come out for the Alumni Feast and Brews. Can you tell me, obviously those are nice round numbers, but can you tell me what your feedback was from those classes and what kind of reception you've got from them so far?
Sure. We always get a lot of interest on Facebook and people start talking, but it's not until the week before the event that the RSVPs really start to roll in. So I'm anxious to see the response from the class reunion milestone years. I've also been speaking with court reporters because we're doing a special reunion for them. They were really big in the 80s, and they have such a tight-knit group. So it'll be exciting to have them on campus. And we're also going to be inducting some of our Golden graduates into the Golden Knight Society that day.
And also wanted to note that if you are from the class of 1967, and this is your 50th anniversary, you are welcome to attend the Alumni Feast and Brews tent for free. You can't beat that. So, one thing real quick. The event Friday night, the standing ovation, is $25. The Alumni Feast and Brews, also $25. You're doing something new this year, that if you book both, you can have both events for $40 and save yourself $10. Where did you guys come up with that idea?
Well, that's another superhero idea. The package is called the Dynamic Duo Package. So that's our tie-in for our superhero theme, and it's just a way to encourage alumni to come to both events, Friday and Saturday.
And we definitely wanted to keep the cost down for our alumni and for the families. Whenever you see festivals like this in other scenarios and venues, you could be paying upwards $60 to $100 just for one event. So we're really excited and glad that we can offer such a great cost for our grads.
So we've got the Dynamic Duo package, all of this information, tickets. It will be along with this podcast on the article, but you can also always go to www.centralpenn.edu/homecoming for more information on tickets to either event or both events with the Dynamic Duo package. All right, one more thing. So we're kind of just walking through in a chronological order here.
And then also, if they wanted to come the next morning, on Sunday morning, to our alumni brunch, that's something that we wanted to offer too, if in case anyone is spending the night and they need something to do the next morning, if they want to grab a bite to eat before they start the trek back home.
What Sarah is talking about is the alumni brunch. It's going to be at 11 a.m. at Rock Bass Grill in Wormleysburg. If you do have interest, you can always email alum@centralpenn.edu. So the alumni brunch is something very interesting, and what is even better, I don't know, have you guys ever eaten brunch at Rock Bass before?
I've had dinner there, but I haven't had brunch
The
there.
crab hash is absolutely to die for. I have been there so many times, and every time I don't even need to look at the menu. It is just unbelievable. So I encourage any of you out there listening that are joining Sarah and the crew for the alumni brunch at Rock Bass to grab that. Again, just the kind of thing where, you know, this is something that you're really trying to make an entire weekend. I love Rock Bass is right down the road. We go there quite frequently just for you know, campus functions, things like that. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to really have a great send-off to the weekend. So, Sarah, any final thoughts on what we have going on coming up for homecoming that you wanted to just point out to the listeners?
Well, first, I'm really glad that you mentioned crab hash because I'm going to order that.
It's amazing.
But, you know, I think that it's really just an opportunity to get back together with your old friends, with your roommates, with people that you might not have seen for a long time. And I wanted to mention that if you're listening and if there's anyone who you were really close with whenever you attended and somehow over the years you lost their contact information, you want to get back in touch, just get in touch with me and I can see if I can track them down. I can have their contact information and I can try to email or call or send letters on your behalf.
Well, that's very unique to do. I know there's a few guys I went to school with that I've lost touch with over the years and I'd love to chat with. So there's another service that you provide that really is quite incredible. So let's just do a quick recap here. So we're starting On Friday, October the 20th, yours truly will MC the Standing Ovation Alumni Awards Night. Tickets are available at centralpenn.edu/homecoming. That's going to be from 7 to 10 p.m. in the Conference Center. Stay overnight by giving a call to the Best Western Plus. And next morning from 10 to 2, you have the Fall Harvest Festival with all the details you need on the website. You've got the Alumni Feast and Brews Reunion Tent from 1 to 4 p.m. And, of course, on Sunday, the finale of Superheroes Homecoming Weekend, the Alumni Brunch at the Rock Bass Grill in Wormleysburg. I'm sure that you're on the verge of, ripping your hair out at this point trying to get this ready to rock and roll. But if this year is anything like last year, I think every single person will leave here with a huge smile on your face. You just did an amazing job last year.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm not ripping my hair out yet, but everything's really coming together very smoothly, and a lot of it is thanks to our alumni council members and all the hard work that they're putting into it, specifically Sherry for the awards night. So thank you, Sherry.
Yay.
Sherry, any final comments on, or any kind of things that you noticed going through the process, or anything you especially want to point out that I may have missed?
Well, I'm just excited, really excited for the Standing Ovation night, just to meet as an alumni council member. I don't really know a lot of the alumni, and I think this will be not only young alumni but older alumni, and just be a great way to get to know the whole Central Penn family and their family, the alumni's families themselves.
So if you are interested in coming to any of the events above, please check out centralpenn.edu/homecoming, email alum@centralpenn.edu, or certainly this information will be along with this podcast as well. So Sarah, thank you so much, not only for putting this event together, for putting together the Alumni Leadership Conference, for doing the amazing job that you do here on campus. Thank you so very much for taking the time out today and spending with the Nightly News.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
And Sherry, thank you so much for your efforts on both of these events and future events, and certainly thank you for all you do with the Nightly News as well.
You're welcome. Glad to do it.
All right, so for Sarah Blumenschein, Alumni Engagement Director, and Sherry Long, Nightly News Club President, and along with about 15 other titles that would make the podcast a little too long, this is Professor Paul Miller, and we'll catch you next time on the Nightly News Podcast.
Hello, my name is Darren Green. I'm a major in communications, and you're listening to the Nightly News Podcast.
Welcome to the Nightly News Podcast. We are back for a new term, and of course with our favorite guest sitting in today with Adrienne Thoman, Student Activities Director. Welcome, Adrienne.
Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely not a problem. One of the things that I wanted to chat with you about, we've got a ton going on in October. You're an all-star as far as getting the activities calendar together. So please, if you're a new student, please make sure you're grabbing the activities calendar and also keeping your eye out for Student Central, which will have any last-minute changes or additions to the activities calendar. Few things that I wanted to talk about with you here today before we get to your favorite segment, Adrienne's Featured 3. And we're going to start off with the Fall Club Fair, Adrienne. Last term was the first time that you went away from the more common hour, the 12:10 to 1:10 approach, and did something a little different. We were outside in the night and day cafe. You offered food, and it also gave an opportunity for some more of our students who may have been in class to attend. So can you just give me a little feedback about how that went and why you decided to stick with that time?
So we had a lot of positive feedback after the last club fair. The clubs, the advisors, the majority of them found it to be a really good time because they didn't have to worry about class conflicts or anything like that. Students were able to get there to get their table set up and ready to go. We also had the added element of all of the participants that came to club fair were able to vote on their favorite table displays and the most interactive club and which club or team they're most likely to join. And then those that were selected actually got prizes to help them to fund activities that they're doing this fall. So it turned out to be a lot of fun, and then we gave hot wings to everybody that participated, and free food's always a good thing. So,
well, I also saw that you and Curtis Volker did a Facebook Live during the presentation and went around to the different club booths, and that was very interesting too. Another a unique element that you brought to the table with the club fair. So, can you tell? Did you receive any positive feedback from some of the clubs that attended? What were some of the feedback that you received from them?
They were telling me, the ones that I talked to definitely shared that they felt they got a lot of names and students that were interested in joining their teams. For our clubs, Club Fair is a great opportunity to start recruiting the newest members. So we are seeing all the incoming students. It's in a space where our current students can also come and participate. Maybe the first term here, they weren't quite ready to join something, so now they can come back and revisit the opportunity to get involved. So the clubs were really excited to have those names and get lots of new, I don't want to say fresh blood. That doesn't sound quite right, but
no, just an opportunity to get in front of the people, the new students. And I want to go back to something that you said. I teach a lot of the CPC Foundations classes, and one of the most common things that I find is students are very hesitant their first term to join clubs. So I think it's not necessarily something that's just for first-term students.
Not at all.
I truly think every student should go. I mean, it's free food, but also the opportunity to find ways to get involved on campus. And both you and I are humongous advocates of the need in 2017 and beyond for students to get involved on campus beyond the classroom. Can you I know that we've talked about this before, but can you talk about why it is so important for students, especially new students who may not know anybody, to get involved in on campus as a way to sort of, add things that they're good at on their resume?
To put it simply, you learn things that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom. You are going to learn a lot of amazing things in the classroom, but you may not learn event planning. You may not learn fundraising. You may not learn how to work out differences on a committee or how to run a meeting. Those are all skills that you're going to need likely in your professional life, and club involvement can give that to you.
Well, I definitely think you mentioned event planning. I mean, just for example, and obviously when I talk about clubs, I'm going to talk about the club that I'm an advisor of because that's the only one I really have, firsthand experience with. But we just got done putting together our Nasir Harris podcast studio dedication, in which we had over 40 people here on campus.
That's amazing.
I know. We provided lunch. We had his family down. It was a wonderful event, and I encourage any of you that have not seen the video that Cy Pinthong put together. It's on our YouTube channel. I encourage you to watch that. But this is the thing. I really had different people in charge of different things. So I had certain people involved with the menu. I had certain people when they got here. I had certain people that were greeting people and getting them and drinks. And I had certain people that were like Cy was in charge of the television that we had. So I had everybody involved, and that came as a collaborative process from our club. Now, we do have an events planning class here, I will say that, but it's not a class that everybody takes, and it's really only a class that really our upper level communication students take. So that's certainly something. Also, every term we do one, if not multiple, fundraising endeavors. And in fact, our most famous fundraisers coming up here in November, our soup sale.
I'm hungry. I'm ready for that.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. But you make a really interesting point. So also the meetings. Now, Sherry Long, our president, has started running our meetings. And it's really adding to some of the things that she and all the rest of our club members can put on a resume. So,
well, think about it. How many in the professional work, for those of us listening that are in the professional workforce, how many have been to a meeting that hasn't quite been as productive as it could have been? Those skills are important, and they're going to help you to excel when you're working.
No question at all. Okay, so we're talking about the club fair that's coming up Wednesday, October 11th. It's going to be from 4 to 6 p.m. at just outside the Night and Day Cafe with good weather, and it'll be inside.
It's going to be beautiful.
We've gotten really lucky with weather lately.
Whole month of October, beautiful.
I certainly hope so. All right, the second thing, Adrienne, that I would like to talk about with you today is homecoming. Now, obviously, also on today's podcast, we're also hearing from Sarah Blumenschein, and she's talking a lot more about the alumni aspect of homecoming, specifically the Feast and Brews. I actually get the fortune of getting to MC the awards banquet, so that should be a lot of fun. And there's some other things going on for alumni. But let's bring it back to the student perspective. Adrienne, when I first got here, and I've been going on 5 years now, it's like time just flies right past. When I first came here, Fall Harvest, always a wonderful event, no question. But when I first got here, it was much more condensed. It was the 10 to 2, the fair. Then once we got the theater, we started adding new elements, and now we've got a whole entire weekend, which I think is fantastic. But what you've done is you've actually brought some of this whole homecoming theme to the students, and I know that you've done some of these things in the past, but tell us a little bit more on what the students can expect during homecoming weekend, the 20th through the 22nd of October.
So they will really have a full weekend to be involved on campus. It'll start on Saturday at the Fall Harvest Festival that runs from 10 to 2. Inflatables and free food and a band, and Almost Famous is a band that's going to be performing. Fun activities. A lot of our clubs are actually planning interactive things that they're going to be doing with the community. For those of you that are familiar with our fall fundraiser, the fundraising competition that we have called Night Quest, we're going to have fundraisers on site for that. A mechanical bull. I mean, who does not love the mechanical bull? All kinds of fun things happening like that at the festival itself. After that, well, I have to point out one of the biggest things that happens, at least in my opinion, that happens at Fall Harvest Festival is the announcement of our homecoming court. We have already had 6 students, 3 gentlemen and 3 ladies that have been selected as the court. And at Fall Harvest, we announce who the king and queen will be. So that's huge. It's a big, exciting kind of thing happening. The students are already starting to campaign, and voting actually will be open by the time you hear this.
So one of the things that I also see you have here, obviously Fall Harvest, a huge event for not only just the college and our students, but also our community, allow them on campus. But there's something special on the 21st in the evening. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
The homecoming dance. So we have typically try to have a larger dance every term. This term we're going to have a homecoming theme. So we're going to be able to reintroduce the court, celebrate the king and queen again, and then just have a wonderful time on campus as a student body. And that'll be held in our conference center.
And what if a student was coming to the homecoming dance, other than the festivities that you just mentioned, what else could they expect from the homecoming dance?
We have a live DJ, lots of music, usually some snacks or some drinks that are going to be there, non-alcoholic, of course, and just good social time with their friends.
And it's a very wonderful time to have the opportunity to get together with some of their friends in a little more casual of a scene. Well, if they make it through the dance on Saturday night, you've got something extra special planned for Sunday for brunch. Let's talk about that.
So this is the first year. We're really trying to make it a full homecoming weekend, a homecoming experience. I think of when I was a student and what homecoming was. And it's not just one. It's that whole weekend of just celebrations and fun and being together and celebrating being the Central Penn Knights. So we are going to have a Sunday kegs and eggs. So root beer and birch beer and eggs and breakfast, and just kind of ending the weekend with that social time and some food and some fun.
So Friday, of course, as Sarah will mention, we've got the Alumni Awards Banquet that Friday the 20th. Of course, then Fall Harvest on the 21st. We have the homecoming dance in the evening from 9 to midnight, and then root beer, kegs, and eggs on Sunday the 22nd. Adrienne, that is a wonderful look. 2 huge events. Of course, we also do have a few other things that are coming up. We certainly are going to talk about them in our favorite segment every single time we have you on, Adrienne's Featured 3. All right, Adrienne, let's start with event number 1.
Okay, leading into homecoming weekend, the first 2 in my Featured 3 are going to be the week prior. So October 17th, our student ambassadors are leading what I believe is the 3rd annual Club Wars. So our clubs, our teams, they come together and compete kind of field day style, all kinds of competitive activities. The winning team or club will get recognized at our club and activity banquet. They will get a spirit stick that they get to treasure for a year and hold on to, and just be, bragging rights for a year.
So Club Wars is going to happen from 4 to 6 p.m. on the quad on October 17th. Adrienne, if clubs are interested in joining, how can they sign up?
They can talk to either of any of the officers of our Student Ambassadors organization, or they can come and see me.
You're usually the point person for almost all of these. You must get 1,000 emails a day. All right, Adrienne, what is the number 2 event for Adrienne's Featured 3?
This one's great. We are bringing in a a touring artist by the name of Gary Johnson. He is like an all-request live show. He's coming to the Capitol Blue Cross Theater. He gives you a text, like a cell phone number. You text him the name of whatever song you want. It could be anything. And he live recreates that song on stage. It is amazing. It's the coolest thing. You can pick whatever song you want, and he does this live reenactment of it right in front of you.
And you said that you'd seen him before, right?
Yes, I took the Activities Advisory Board to a conference this spring to see some opportunities from performers that we could potentially bring to campus, and he was one of the ones that was there.
So set this up for me. Is it that he knows every single song, or is that he has a little assistance from computers?
No, from what I can tell, he knows every song because
That's just incredible.
He has like a looping, I'm gonna butcher this, but some kind of piece of equipment that loops and lets him like record pieces of it and then overlap, but he is building it from scratch
By himself.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
That is fantastic. And that is free, correct?
Yes, free show and open to the public, so you can bring guests, bring friends.
And that's one of the other things, I'm just as a quick aside, that I really appreciate that you do. Most of the events that you have here in the evenings, you do open to the public. In fact, Salish the hypnotist was here recently.
So much fun.
And I actually heard from a lot of different people that was one of the coolest things. So maybe Gary Johnson can give Salish the hypnotist a run for his money on October the 18th at the Capitol Blue Cross Theater at 7 p.m. Adrienne, what is the third event on Adrienne's Featured 3 this month?
Final event is a fun annual field trip that we take to Field of Screams. How I convince these students to get me to do these scary things is beyond me. It is terrifying every single time that we go, but we have so much fun. Like, we literally are like this group that we just like go in a clump through all the buildings because we're terrified, all of us, but we have a blast. So that one is a for charge. It's $14 per student, and we do have a limited number of spots, so register early. We're going to go Friday, October 27th.
But yeah, the thing about that is if you go to Field of Screams by yourself, it's like double that.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's another excellent thing. Even when there is a charge for some of these things, you're getting like half price. Even I know Hershey Park, it was very affordable. Field of Screams I'm seeing here, even some of the like the whitewater rafting trips, very, very, very affordable for students as well. All right, let's do a quick recap on everything we've chatted about today. Obviously, October 11th is the Fall Club Fair. That'll be outside the Night and Day Cafe from 4 to 6 p.m. Please come out, meet your club officers, maybe find a new club to join here on campus. It will do nothing more than benefit you in the long run, of course. On Tuesday, October 17th, you can come out for Club Wars on the Quad from 4 to 6 p.m. If you are interested, you can talk to any of the student ambassadors' officers or email Adrienne Thoman at centralpenn.edu. The final event on Adrienne's Featured 3 was Gary Johnson All Request Show. That's going to be on October 18th at 7 p.m., and that's also open to the public. We also mentioned today Homecoming Weekend. That's going to be the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Many events for our students, including Fall Harvest from 10 to 2. But lots of things going on in the theater during that time as well. We also have the Homecoming Dance from the Conference Center from 9 p.m. to midnight on the 21st, and then on the 22nd, Root Beer, Kegs, and Eggs in the ATEC Lounge from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The last thing that we discussed today was Field of Screams. Adrienne's going to take a group of students for $14. That's going to happen on Friday, the 27th of October, and if you'd like to sign up, please do so immediately by emailing Adrienne. Adrienne, one last thing that I want to chat with you about. I haven't thrown you any curveballs yet today.
Oh, I was waiting.
No, I'm just joking. Maybe we can get through this show curveball free. The one thing that I did want to talk about, especially for new students, we have a really cool thing here that you do and that you are in charge of, and that is the shuttles to different places around campus. We are very unique. Now, I know that other schools may have buses or some types of rides, but you literally have multiple shuttle rides weekly to Giant, to Rite Aid, to the mall. Can you tell me a little bit more? How can students get involved with this if they're new or maybe don't have a transportation here on campus?
So definitely watch the activities calendar. If you look, we try to put it as many places as we can. It's on Blackboard. It's on Student Central. I hand them out whenever I can too. But I list all the shuttles on there. The important thing is we only have the van and the driver available at certain times. So we have them pre-scheduled to make it as convenient as possible. So look at that schedule, see which ones fit in your schedule, and then just shoot me an email and hop on board.
So that's going to be available on the activities calendar and also in Student Central as well.
Yes, and all of them are typically listed on Blackboard too.
So you've got nothing but opportunity in October. We'd like to welcome you back for the fall term. Get started with the club fair. We've got all kinds of things going on in October, from homecoming to Field of Screams to some excellent events from student ambassadors and the AAB. I mean, your calendar is just chock full. It looks to me like you're running out of room on some of these days here. Well, Adrienne, thank you so very much for taking the time out to be with the Nightly News Podcast today, as you are every month, and we appreciate that very much. And certainly, please make sure, everyone out there, make sure you're staying in touch with Adrienne to find out how you can get involved on campus. Adrienne, thank you so much for coming down today.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. All right, so for Adrienne Thoman, Student Activities Director, this is Paul Miller, and we'll catch you next time on the Nightly News Podcast.